Welcome back to another deck at home video featuring P.U.N.K this time. This is a series where I make budget versions of expensive decks so that anyone can use them even if they're starting on a new account. This deck has proven to be more challenging to build than the rest of my previous decks because the P.U.N.K engine itself is actually quite expensive, but I have managed to thin it out so now it only has 6 SRs and 2 URs. Let's go over the cards real quick. We have 3 Sharakusai, 3 Wagon, 3 Madam Spider, 3 Amin, 1 Deer Note, and 1 Foxy Tune. These are our P.U.N.K engine monsters. And we have 3 P.U.N.K spells. Our Jam Extreme Session. This is part of our combo. And then we got the P.U.N.K Wild Picking and P.U.N.K Crash Beat. These two are just here for the grind game. It's not necessary, but really I just need to fill up space in this deck and also extra spells for Wagon to activate his effect for. And then we have 3 P.U.N.K Dangerous Gabu. This is a good negate and also heals. We really need some heals for this deck because we use so much LP for cost. And then 2 nashiwaris, which is also really good. All these, the traps and the spells are all searchable, so you can really run less of these if you wanted, but I just liked more so our grind game is better. Now we have 3 magical mallet. This is here because since I'm cutting down on so much of the P.U.N.K cards, I'm putting this here so we can mulligan our hand to hopefully draw the cards we need for our combo starters like more consistently. We got the 3 Psychic Tracker for more level 3 psychics on our field or graveyard for our boss monster Amazing Dragon. We got the 3 Mystic Water Dragon. This allows us to summon Amazing Dragon without Jam Dragon Drive on the board. We got the 3 Nemeses flag. This is an interesting card because with Extreme Session, we can banish a P.U.N.K monster or just a P.U.N.K card in general to summon a P.U.N.K monster from our hand. And then we can use that banished monster to special summon Nemesis flag, putting that card back into the deck. So what this does, the logic is, if they manage to get rid of our Amazing Dragon, we use Extreme Session, banish Amazing Dragon, summon Nemesis flag, put Amazing Dragon back into an extra deck, allowing us to synchro summon it again in another turn. So we can recycle our Amazing Dragon that way, which is pretty neat, I've got to say. I have not actually done it yet because I've always just every time I've actually summoned Amazing Dragon, I've pretty much just won the game by then. So it hasn't ever come up, but it's an option if you ever go into that situation. Now we have 3 Book of Moon. Now this card is really interesting because it synergizes with our Nashiwari. I'm sorry if I'm butchering any of these names because like this is really some complicated ass words, but Book of Moon flips a monster face down, and if we don't have a P.U.N.K monster, we can only destroy a set card. So with Book of Moon, if we don't have a P.U.N.K monster, we can still activate Nashiwari. And then we just have the 3 Forbidden Chalice because it's just a negate, it's cheap, it's strong. For our extra deck, we have our Rising Carp, Jam Dragon Drive, and Amazing Dragon. These are our combo extra deck monsters, which we need, which is also our only 2 URs in the extra deck. We got the really interesting card here, Hyper Psychic Riser. So this is only here to really just try to stall, I guess, because if we don't draw our starters in our starting hand, we can summon or try to summon Hyper Psychic Riser to stall for until we do. And also it requires almost no investment because if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, we can get the cards used to summon this guy back into our hand, or if you still don't have your combo, you can get this guy back into your extra deck to summon him again to try and stall some more. And then we have the Magical Android. This can be summoned with our level 3 tuner P.U.N.K tuners and Nemesis flag. So like on our next turn, if we don't manage to finish him off, our amazing dragon dies. We put him back in the extra deck with Nemesis flag, use one of our tuners and Nemesis flag to summon magical android to gain our life points back, so we have enough to do our combo again to summon amazing dragon. So that is the logic, and that's why magical android is here. So now that I've talked about the deck, let me show you guys what the combo is so you can actually use the deck. And bear with me guys, because I do not myself know the combo fully. Like, I haven't mastered the combo. I still have to look it up a few times. Sometimes I just forget. But we have the amin, which is one of our main combo starters. We normal summon the amin, pay 600 to activate the effect. We want to search for a foxy tune. So we search foxy tune, put him in our hand, activate the second effect of foxy tune. Now we have to discard a card, and doesn't really matter. I'm gonna just choose a Madame Spider because it really doesn't matter. It also puts one level 3 psychic into our graveyard, so that's good. Now we want to search and special summon Sharakusai. Again, sorry if I'm gonna butcher any of these guys' names because it is quite complicated. We activate Sharakusai's effect to fusion summon to our fusion Rising Carp. Now Rising Carp will tribute itself. You don't really have to activate the amin. I just click yes because I don't know, I see yes and I want to click it. So now we want to special summon Deer Note and another monster, Wagon. We summon these two guys out, activate Wagon's effect, pay 600 to add Extreme Session into our hand. This is one of our key cards to make this whole entire deck really function properly. Now we use these two cards to synchro summon into Jam Dragon. Now we activate both Jam Dragon and Deer Note's effects. Now Deer Note special summons from the graveyard, and you want to special summon Sharakusai. And then Jam Dragon adds a P.U.n.k monster, P.U.n.k monster to your hand. And you mostly want to choose Madame Spider, but if you already have her in your hand, you can just really choose anything you want. Oh, I'm sorry, and it's not a P.U.n.k. I think it's just a psychic. Yeah, just a level 3 psychic. And because we paid 600 with our P.U.n.k, Extreme Session draws us a card, which is really good. So now we activate Extreme Session's effect to banish. Doesn't really matter. If you banish a level 3 psychic, you removes a level 3 psychic from your graveyard, which lessens the effect of Amazing Dragon. So it depends. Do what you want. It doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna banish Deer Note. We're not gonna use her anyways, so we summon Madame Spider, activate Madame Spider's effect to get a trap card. Since we already have Danger Gabu, let's just grab nashiwari or whatever it's called, allowing us to draw again because we paid life points with our P.U.n.k card. Now we set like all of our cards pretty much. Set Forbidden Chalice. We can summon Mystical Water Dragon because we have a Earth monster. Our P.U.n.k cards are Earth. And we can also summon Nemeses flag because we have a card in our banish zone. We put Deer Note back into our deck. It's like we have 2 copies of him. It's incredible. It's crazy. Look, we have 2 copies of Deer Note in our deck. It's insane. We can summon Magical Android with we don't want to use Sharakusai, so we use Madame Spider to summon Magical Android. So this allows us to gain some of our LP back. And we do not want to summon Amazing Dragon yet. We do that on our opponent's turn. Let me show you. So see, we get quite a bit of LP back from our combo. Assuming we have a Nemesis in our hand. So what happens here is, let me show you. So activate Sharakusai's effect, pay 600, and summon Amazing Dragon. Since we have our water dragon on the field, we can use water dragon instead of our jam dragon to synchro summon into amazing dragon. Look at him, he's beautiful. I love the art. And again, since we use LP, we can use extreme session to draw a card. And then if we synchro summon amazing dragon, put cards back into their hand. Obviously, this is a spell, so it literally doesn't even matter that we're putting it back into the hand because he can just play it immediately, but I'm just doing this as an example.